Hello again, and welcome to week 13 of our third year of the Religious Education Initiative. On this day one, we're continuing with the book of Genesis. Uh, we're in chapter 19 in the second half as the two angels have visited Lot, and they found him the only one in the city of Sodom, watching at the gate for visitors to the city in order to show them hospitality. We saw him welcome them into his home, and we saw how all the other men of the city came in the night to do violence to the men, to the angels, and how Lot tried to convince them that what they were doing was evil without success, so that the angels had to intervene directly, blinding all those attacking the house. Having thus revealed themselves as more than mere human visitors, we will now them see move quickly to save these few righteous people in Lot's household from the destruction that is about to come upon Sodom. So, then the men said to Lot, "Have you anyone else here, sons-in-law, sons, daughters, or anyone you have in the city? Bring them out of the place, for we are about to destroy this place, because the outcry against his people has become great before the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it." So Lot went out and said to his sons-in-law, who were to marry his daughters, "Up, get out of this place, for the Lord is about to destroy the city." But he seemed to his sons-in-law to be jesting. When morning dawned, the angels urged Lot, saying, "Get up, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, or else you will be consumed in the punishment of the city." But he lingered, so the men seized him and his wife and his two daughters by the hand, the Lord being merciful to him, and they brought him out and left him outside the city. When they had brought them outside, they said, "Flee for your life. Do not look back or stop anywhere in the plain. Flee to the hills, or else you will be consumed." And Lot said to them, "Ah, no, my lords, your servant has found favor with you, and you have shown me great kindness in saving my life. But I cannot flee to the hills, for fear the disaster will overtake me, and I die. Look, that city is near enough to flee to, and it is a little one. Let me escape there. Is it not a little one? And my life will be saved." He said to him, "Very well, I grant you this favor too, and will not overthrow the city of which you have spoken. Hurry, escape there, for I can do nothing until you arrive there." Therefore the city was called Zoar. The sun had risen on the earth when Lot came to Zoar. Then the Lord rained on Sodom and Gomorrah sulfur and fire from the Lord out of heaven, and he overthrew those cities, and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and what grew on the ground. But Lot's wife behind him looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. Abraham went early in the morning to the place where he had stood before the Lord, and he looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of the plain, and saw the smoke of the land going up like the smoke of a furnace. So it was, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, God remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot had settled. So, we pretty much, I think, established last time, I hope we established clearly. It was certainly, I believe, the intent of the text to establish clearly to us that this punishment, this destruction, this end to the evil of Sodom and Gomorrah is just and right. We've seen the insistence, the unwillingness to change, to even consider changing on behalf of the people. And we've seen that it's not just, it's not just that they offend the fine moral sensibilities of Abraham or of Yahweh. They are a stench to everyone around them. Any visitor that comes in, they immediately seek to abuse and to destroy. These are not good neighbors, which is kind of a great understatement if we're looking for a way to say this. And we see God, the angels are upholding God's bargain, such as it was, that he made with Abraham. They did not find 10 righteous people in the city. They did not find 5 righteous people in the city. They offered Lot to bring out as many as 6 people, including himself, his wife, his 2 daughters, and the 2 men who were supposed to marry his daughters. But the 2 men weren't willing. They thought it was a silly idea. They thought Lot was joking. They preferred to stay put. We see Lot unwilling to leave. We see him lingering and delaying, even though he knows what's happening. And we see his wife, even at the end, even knowing that the cities are to be destroyed, we see her turn around and be caught up in the destruction. So we are intended to be struck by the mercy of God to Lot, that even as he's lingering, the men take him by the hand and they lead him out, when he's not able to let go of the wealth or the position or whatever it is that has bound him to the that has had this lot cast his lot in, funny, with the city of Sodom. We see the angels lead him out forcibly. Presumably they're not dragging him. If he was that unwilling to go, they would have left him. But he was having a hard time making the decision to leave. We see him deeply attached to the cities of the plain, and it's really very difficult to fathom. Why is he so attached? Seeing the evil, seeing the wickedness. But again, we only have to look to our own lives, because every one of us has things that we do, things that we pay attention to, things that we invest time and energy in, that we know are destructive, that we know are damaging, that we know are harmful to us, and yet we still cling to them. And the Lord calls us and says, leave these things behind. They will destroy you. They will utterly lead to your nothing but pain and grief. And we know this is true in theory, and yet we struggle so deeply to leave them behind. I think the fathers of the church have made this point, but it's worth making again. Lot is a case study for the addictiveness of sin and evil in this world, both for the extent to which these things enslave us and the extent to which they are working to our destruction until we can leave them behind. So I think it's worth noting that the very final verse there is a little bit damning of Lot. It says, God remembered Abraham, and for the sake of Abraham he sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot had settled. The point is made as we leave this episode behind. Lot chose this place. He had his pick of the entire land, and this is where he wanted to live. So God saved him, but he saved him for the sake of Abraham, not necessarily for Lot's sake. Although, again, we see Lot being at least not as wicked as the men of Sodom. He is at least showing hospitality. He is at least in some sense still trying to be righteous. But he's entirely enslaved to the cities until he's brought out of them. So we pray that he and all of us who are delivered from evil may find peace in the Lord and true deliverance indeed, and not rather bring our own slavery to evil with us even when we are delivered. So that's all for day 1. God bless you all, and we'll see you all shortly for day 2.